Howdy folks, I'm Frenzied Frigga Fertillery, frantically freezing fresh fruits.
I'm Amber.
And here are more fresh fruits for us to freeze. It turns out that we're having a storage problem with all of the Reddit stories and they need to be frozen like fruits, and that's what they are, Reddit fruits. I don't know where we're going with this, but let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Wearing a Ring on My Left Finger and Reporting a Coworker for Confronting Me About It? I'm a guy. Before I started at my current job, I bought a ring that I really liked. I started wearing it on my left ring finger simply because I thought it looked really nice. For the first several months at my current job, no one said anything about it. One coworker was trying to get personal with me over these months. I kept my responses strictly professional and avoided any personal discussions. Well, she said that she found out that I wasn't married or engaged and felt deceived by my ring. I felt uncomfortable and I didn't answer her question and I simply said nothing. I reported her to HR because the interaction felt very inappropriate. She was disciplined and given a warning. My coworkers are saying that I took things too far and I don't understand. I just want to work and be quiet. She's taller and stronger than me, and this can escalate into bullying and assault, so reporting it early is a good thing from my experience. Alright folks, what do you think of that?
Not the jerk. I mean, it seems her reaction is very strange. Like, how are you misleading her? First of all, it's none of her business if you're married or not. Like, it sounds like OP just wants to have a coworkerly relationship, not be all buddy-buddy with people. But to act like she's been deceived or misled because OP is wearing a ring on his left ring finger, like, yeah, granted, that is often a wedding or engagement ring spot, but like, it's not like anyone who wears that, it automatically makes you married.
So there is a certain subset of people who do find it appealing to hit on married individuals, and specifically married individuals. And I think in this particular case, that might have been what was happening, is that she was interested in OP because she thought he was taken. And that when she found out that OP wasn't taken, it kind of destroyed the illusion that she had. Now, that's not OP's problem, and that's not OP's fault. And OP just wants to do their job and not have a fling with a coworker, office coworker.
Yeah, well, if she was seeking out married men, like, that's not okay, not cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, like, all I can figure is that she was explicitly seeking out married men because she was upset that the ring wasn't real and she'd been hitting on OP this entire time, right? So, to me, it just feels more like she is disappointed because he's not actually married and she was looking to spark up a spicy affair.
Mm-hmm.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And SafeWord 99999 says, why would your marital status affect her working life? And Yankee Girl 53 says, because she was trying to get an office fling going from the sounds of it. Why else would she be stalkerish about finding out if he was married instead of just asking him? And Still Repairing says, yep, so hilarious reading about her, quote, shattered expectations. Like, girl, what made you think that you had a shot in the first place? Going to HR is the right move. Otherwise, she's just going to keep being a creep. And Freshest Tater Thoughts says, there's a whole crop of people out there that have a thing specifically for married/taken people. Forbidden fruits and all that. Toxicity at its finest. And Rage Parrot says, I never understood this until someone explained it to me at a conference. Work people, or say at a work conference, they seek out people that have rings because they want a one-night stand, no strings attached. Single people might come with strings. And Stony Messenger says, can confirm, when I wore my wedding ring, I seemed to get way more attention than I had ever. It freaked me out, it made my wife laugh. My one friend saw this, went to a pawn shop, bought a wedding ring, and used to tell people that he was separated or soon to be divorced. Worked out very well for him at the time. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Letting My Coworker Use My Emotional Support Rock During Meetings? I am a 29-year-old male, and I keep a small, smooth rock on my desk that I hold during stressful Zoom meetings. It helps with my anxiety and focus. Kind of like a fidget toy, but more low-key. I've had it for years, it's nothing fancy, just a dark gray river rock that I picked up on a hike in college. I even jokingly named it Carl. Recently, a new coworker, we'll call her Jay, noticed me holding Carl during a meeting. Afterwards, she came over and asked if she could borrow it for her presentation later that day because she gets nervous talking to clients. I was kind of caught off guard, but I said no, explaining that it's a personal comfort object and I don't really like anyone else touching it. She seemed surprised, but said, "Oh, okay, no problem." Later that day, I caught her telling another coworker that I was selfish and gatekeeping a literal rock. Now, a few people in the office are joking about it, and I feel like I'm being treated like I'm hoarding magical items or something like that. Some friend says that it's just a rock, and I should have just let her use it to be nice. But to me, it's not just a rock, it's Carl. I've been holding this dumb little stone through job interviews, breakups, and bad days since I was 21. So Reddit, am I the jerk for not letting someone else use my emotional sport rock? Alright folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. It's your rock. She can get her own rock.
I mean, that's a good summary. Get your own rock, lady. I mean, I think when you have like these talismans or, special things, generally you can say that they only work for you or the person that they belong to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the magic only works for one person type of thing. I mean, I don't think that OP is wrong, and I don't think that they're using the word gatekeeping right at all. Like, I have no idea what they're talking about when they're like, oh, OP is gatekeeping a rock. That's not the proper use of that term.
No, I mean, it's a rock OP owns. OP is keeping their own rock.
I mean, if OP was like going around telling other people that they literally couldn't use rocks.
Oh, you picked up that rock off the ground? Well, that's not yours, that's mine.
Yeah, all rocks belong to OP. Oh, you can't have a pet rock. Blah, 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 blah. You aren't sophisticated enough. I don't know. Some people just are looking for trouble, it seems like. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Fit Assistant 8775 says, if it's just a rock, why can't she just go outside and get her own? It's bizarre to want to borrow something like that, specifically your rock. Ask the new coworker what her problem is with getting her own support object and why she's going around telling people that you're selfish. If she keeps doing it, go to HR because it's not okay that she's doing this. And OP replies, totally agree. It's weird that she wants mine instead of getting her own. And if she wants to keep talking about me to others, then I might bring it up to HR. And IKH12 says, not the jerk. Even if there wasn't a significant sentimental value, this is quite bizarre. They are also purpose carved, very cheap and readily available worry stones that are explicitly to be used as fidgets when one is anxious. If you can be bothered, maybe you could suggest one to her. And random internet stranger says, Carl is your personal property. Therefore, you don't want her to use it, then she needs to get her own rock. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Giving My Coworker a Ride Anymore After She Made Me Late to Pick Up My Kids? I work with this girl, Melissa, who doesn't have a car right now because hers broke down last month. Our shifts end at the same time, and she sort of lives on my way home, so I started giving her rides. At first, it was just supposed to be a temporary thing until she could figure something else out. The problem is that Melissa is always running late when she's leaving work. She takes forever to finish up her tasks, and then she needs to use the bathroom and check her phone and all that stuff before we can go. I usually have to pick up my 7-year-old son after school from daycare by 6 p.m. or they charge me a little extra fee. Well, last Tuesday I told Melissa that we needed to leave right after 5 because I had to go get my son. She said okay, but then at 5:15 she was still at her desk doing something on her computer. When I reminded her that I was waiting, she said that she just needed 5 more minutes. We didn't leave until 5:30. And I ended up being 20 minutes late to pick up my son at the daycare, and they charged me a $25 late fee. I told Melissa that that was the last time, and I couldn't give her any more rides if she was going to make me late. She got upset and said that I was being unfair because it's not like she makes me late on purpose. She said that her job requires her to finish certain things before leaving, and she just can't drop everything. Now she has to take the bus, which takes over an hour, to get home instead of 15 minutes ride with me. A few other coworkers are saying that I'm being mean, especially since I know that she doesn't have much money right now. My manager even made a comment about how we should help each other out as a team. Melissa keeps asking if I can give her rides just on days when she promises to be ready on time, but I don't trust that she actually will. She also suggested that I could just pick up my son late, but daycare closes at 6:30 and I don't want to risk it. Am I the jerk for cutting off rides to my coworker? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. It seems like Opie had one very clear expectation. Basically, I just need you to be on time. And she couldn't do it. And so it is not OP's responsibility to like everyone who's like, oh well, you could just do this. It's like, no, like if you want to give her rides you can, but stop trying to volunteer OP for this.
Well, that's the problem I have, is that if they have such a problem with this, then maybe they need to start giving her a ride, or maybe they all need to start pitching in and paying OP a little extra money so that they can afford to be late when their kid is late. Because it's not fair to OP to have to cut into their paycheck to give this person a ride, right?
Well, that's it exactly. Oh well, you could just be late to pick up your son. Like, lady, are you financing that?
Yeah. So if she wants to finance this, then maybe OP might be willing, but it doesn't sound like she has a whole lot of money, and that's part of the reason why she's getting a ride from OP. I mean, I feel for her. I think that this is just kind of a garbage situation that shows how bad and exploitative working situations can be, because she is kind of between a rock and a hard place. Instead of her boss making sure that she can be out on time, they just continue to blame OP for not giving her a ride. So really, the person that should be, solving this problem is the manager, being like, oh, I think that this is fine. We'll make an exception for a little while until she can get her own car, that she can just be done with the day at 5 p.m. so that OP can give her a ride home, right? But no, instead they just want to continue exploiting free labor out of her, and unpaid labor probably too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that the real villain here isn't necessarily the coworker, but the company itself for being a terrible company.
Yeah.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Wim Waffle says, not the jerk, you're not the jerk, and you did a nice thing and she took advantage. Your kid comes first, not her broken time management. She had choices, she fumbled, bus it is. And Mama Liffin says, exactly, not the jerk, helping out is kind, but not your responsibility forever, especially when it starts affecting your kid. Boundaries matter. And Queen of the Hack and Whack says, and Melissa is an adult. She needs to work on her problem-solving skills. Your kid comes first. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, I'm a 25-year-old female and my husband, a 25-year-old male, cheated. I'm a 25-year-old female and my husband, a 25-year-old male, and I have been together for nearly 9 years. I was going through his phone a few days ago and I found out some texts from another woman. And I asked him about it and he said this. On a work trip, he went to a strip club and met a stripper and they started talking. They got along really well, and he was asking her for marital advice, as he and I were fighting a lot before the election due to differences in political/human rights beliefs. He got her number. The following day, he texts her and says, we had a great connection last night, and I would like to get some more of that. Are you working tonight? She wasn't, so they didn't meet anymore at that time. Well, about 8 months later, he takes a work trip to the same state. He texts her and asks her if she's working. She wasn't working that week, so she offered to meet him at his room. He sent her his hotel number. They met at his hotel room, and they got drinks and talked. After she leaves, she texts him a photo of them from that night. They are both topless, and he's kissing her on the cheek. He texts back, thank you so much for tonight. We'll definitely have to hang out soon. Apparently, they just talked, and she didn't give him a lap dance or anything. He didn't pay her. The reason he got naked is because he mentioned that his wife is the only one who has ever seen him naked. And she said, you can get naked. You're not from here. You'll never see me again. I'm sick and heartbroken. I never thought that he would do something like this. Any advice is welcome. I feel like this has changed our relationship entirely, and I don't know if I can get over it. Even if they just talked, will I be able to trust him again? We are young and we don't have kids, so the D word is in the back of my mind, but dang, he's my high school sweetheart and it hurts. All right, folks, what do you think?
I'm sorry you're dealing with this OP, but I'm pretty sure that they weren't just hanging around naked for the fun of it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, who just hangs around naked for the fun of it and takes pictures of you naked for the fun of it, right?
But, it's just the idea of, oh, yeah, I just got naked with her because I'd never been naked around someone other than my wife. Like, first of all, that doesn't make it okay. Like if you have a rule in your relationship, you don't get naked around other people. That's still a boundary violation.
Mm-hmm.
But expecting Opie to believe that they just got naked and were taking all these close pictures together I just, it baffles my mind that he thinks this would work.
Yeah, I mean, I can't roll my eyes back far enough at this. The fact of the matter is that he very likely cheated, and OP should definitely take any screenshots that they can so that they can present it as evidence to divorce court at the time. And I think that's really the reality of the situation. Censor things if you have to, of course. I don't know what the court would necessarily need for evidence, but the fact of the matter is that it's very likely that OP's husband cheated. It's very likely that even though he's like, well, we'll never see you again. I'll never see you again, blah, blah, blah. Well, he's already seen her twice, right? On 2 different occasions, right? I mean, what are the chances that he's not just going to go and visit her again and have another little tiny, we'll just kind of get naked again because last time we got naked, right?
It's just our thing now.
We just, I just like to hang out naked with people in my hotel room for no obvious reason whatsoever.
Definitely not cheating.
So I think that OP just has to face the hard reality here that their husband is unfaithful. And as for OP and what they can do to trust their husband again, like, that's a very personal decision. What could you do to trust him again?
And I mean, I think the answer is, if, at least, from my perspective, you can't.
Yeah. Therapy. You can go to therapy and you can work on your feelings, but I think at the end of the day, you're just going to realize that that you can't trust him. He broke your trust here and will continue to violate your trust on 2 separate occasions, nonetheless, too, right? But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Confetti Williams says, do you really believe he just talked to her? And that's not actually talking. That's emotional and physical cheating. They took off their clothes. They met in secret. You can do better. The person meant for you would never cause you this level of pain and suffering. I promise. And OP replies, I don't think they just talked. Why would she drive and meet a random guy just to talk and not get paid? He's been my person since I was 16, and the thought of not being with him makes me sick. And Whopper Plopper says, is cheating a deal breaker for you? And OP replies, absolutely. If any sexual act was involved, I would leave, and he knows that. That's why I wonder if he's lying to me about them just talking. Yes.
He is OP.
Well, the thing is, like, it's easy to sit back here and kind of be critical of OP, but the fact of the matter is that sometimes people, I feel like, on these stories, they just need somebody to tell them that it's all right. You can consider divorce. You can divorce this person who you've been with, right? Yes, indeed, they are gaslighting you and trying to deceive you and manipulate you into believing that you are the unreasonable one, when you are, in fact, in all actuality, the reasonable one, and they're just lying to you.
Yeah. Well, if you need permission from strangers on the internet, you have my permission.
All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What might you call a seafaring butterfly?
Oh, I would call a seafaring butterfly an Admiral.
Yes. And it's National Mascot Day, which doesn't really have anything to do with anything, but...
Well, you could have a mascot as the Admiral.
Yeah, I think that was my idea going in.
You might even have a butterfly Admiral as your mascot, which would make a pretty poor mascot as mascots go.
I think it would be a great mascot.
The fighting butterflies! We're going to punch you with our wings. I don't know. It's a mascot. It's a mascot. It doesn't have to make sense.
Well, I was thinking they're like, like an admiral butterfly, but like all decked out like an admiral of the sea.
Oh, so they're like buff butterflies.
Well, no.
Oh, okay. Well, now I'm very confused.
Like they have just seafaring stuff, like, I don't know, a spyglass or something.
No, it's a butterfly with a spyglass. Okay, that makes sense. Sure. And I have throat coat tea today. Not that I need it or anything like that. Now this one is Traditional Medicines Organic Throat Coat Supports Throat Health. It's just been a while since I had throat coat, and I was kind of like, well, you know what? We have a random tea at hand, and, I just kind of want to have a random tea. So there is, again, nothing wrong with me. I'm not dying or anything like that. And this little T thing has on its little T tag, "Are not flowers the stars of the earth?" Clara Lucas Balfour. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Terrific Tuesday, spelled TWO. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please have it on bad coworkers or bad co-working situations or bad work job trips.
Don't be a bad coworker, and don't be a bad partner, and don't cheat and then treat your partner like they are completely ignorant.
Don't cheat while you're on work trips, while wearing your wedding ring to attract additional partners. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.